FPL Gameweek 20 transfer plans. What is up everyone, how's it going? FPL Era here and welcome back to another video on my YouTube channel. Gameweek 19 is still underway and we're on course for another green arrow with 3 Arsenal players still to come. The big news that broke this morning is the fact that Cunha is going to be banned for 2 games. However, he's only going to miss 1 Premier League game, so we're going to be looking at his best replacements and what my plans are around the situation. I also have 2 free transfers to use and I might be looking to use the 2 of them. So in today's video we're going to look at how it fared out in Gameweek 19 and we're also going to look at my transfer plans ahead of the Gameweek 20 deadline. We've lots to discuss, let's get into the video. So before we get into today's video, quick reminder as always to give the video a like. Let's hit a like goal of 70 likes on this video. So the last video 2024, head on down there, drop the video a like, and if you are watching this and you're not subscribed, we're just 1 subscriber off hitting our 7.2k goal before the end of the year. So if you are watching and you're not subscribed, head on down there, click subscribe on the channel, and fingers crossed we can hit that milestone before the end of the year. So here's a look at how I'm getting on so far this week. 72 points with 3 Arsenal players still to come, so we're in a good position this game week. I've got Mo Salah and Trent Alexander-Arnold to thank for the majority of the points this week. Salah coming away with a goal and 2 assists for a monster 32-point haul from the Iron Man, and Trent finally came away with his first mega haul, a goal and a clean sheet for a 15-point return. 47 points from my 2 Liverpool lads. That's 65% of my points this week. I'm glad to have the 2 of them in the team. Anthony Robinson made it his 7th attacking return of the season as he picked up a late assist as Fulham drew 2-2 with Bournemouth. That's his 2nd return now in the last 3 games since I brought him into the team, and he's got a nice run of fixtures up against Leicester, Ipswich and West Ham, so I'll be expecting a few more returns over the next few games. There was nothing else really to shout about on Sunday's games. Only had Cunha as my other player involved, and he came off at half-time with an injury, and we all know now he's banned for Gameweek 20. Moving on to last night's games, João Pedro was the star of the night as he picked up 2 assists and a bonus point away at Aston Villa for a 9-point return. Good to see João Pedro finally amongst the returns after a few blanks over his last 2 game weeks. And then Isak continued his impressive run of form as he picked up a goal away to Old Trafford. That's 6 games now without a blank for the Swedish man, so what a season he's having also. Looking at Ahmed and Cole Palmer then, both of them came away with a blank, but I was hoping Palmer was going to blank as effective ownership was over 100%, so any points Cole Palmer got effectively put me down in rank. Looking at Ahmed then, it's been fair from my deal since I brought him into the team. Brought him in 3 weeks ago, swapped out Morgan Rogers. Over those 3 games, Ahmed has blanked 3 times and Rogers has picked up 2 goals and 2 assists, so a lot of points dropped there for making that transfer. Not my best decision, but look, we're still in a good position, 76k overall. As I said, we've 3 Arsenal players still to come. If Arsenal get a clean sheet, or if Odegaard comes away with a goal or a few returns, we could be potentially inside the top of 50k before the start of the year. With that review out of the way, let's move on now and have a look at my transfer plans ahead of the Gameweek 20 deadline. So we've already spoken about it, but the big news that broke this morning is the fact Cunha is going to be banned for 2 games following his antics after the final whistle against Ipswich back in Gameweek 16. Out of these 2 games, he is only going to miss 1 Premier League game this week in Gameweek 20 against Nottingham Forest, and then he'll also miss Wolves' FA Cup tie against Bristol City. Definitely very light punishment. I was expecting at least a 3 to 4 game ban, but if you're a Cunha owner like myself, we can definitely consider ourselves very fortunate the fact he could play the last 3 games and pick up 22 points over those last 3 games. Looking ahead, what do we do with Cunha? Well, after the ban against Nottingham Forest in Gameweek 20, Wolves face Arsenal, Aston Villa, Chelsea, Newcastle and Liverpool, so a very tough run of fixtures for Wolves, and that's why I'm looking to sell him. Let's move on now and have a look at the top replacements and who I'm considering bringing into my team. So with Cunha banned for Gameweek 20, here's my top 4 replacements you should be looking at if you're looking to take out Cunha this week. I haven't included Alexander Isak on this list. You should already have Isak in your team, so if you don't own Isak, make sure he's your priority and get him in this week if you have enough money. So let's start off with Gabriel Jesus. If you are following my own team this season, you'll already know that I own 3 Arsenal players in Odegaard, Raya and Gabriel, so I myself won't be going the Gabriel Jesus route this week. However, if you are looking for a cheap route into that Arsenal attack, he's a decent option. After the Brentford game tomorrow, Arsenal have a decent run of fixtures against poor defences in Aston Villa, Brighton, Spurs and Wolves, so you'll be expecting a few goals for Arsenal over those run of games. And with the fact that Jesus got 2 goals and an assist against Crystal Palace, fair enough he didn't score against Ipswich, but I do think he'll get some minutes over the next few games. He's not a bad shout. However, as I said, if you are looking to bring in Jesus, I'd probably wait until after the Brentford game tomorrow, just in case he picks up an injury, or if he's even bench, you could probably look elsewhere then. We then move on to our second option in Raul Jimenez, and he's a cheap enabler, priced at 5.5 million, and Fulham have a nice run of fixtures over the next couple of game weeks up against Ipswich, West Ham and Leicester, so you'd expect a few returns for Fulham in those fixtures. Raul Jimenez is off the back of scoring against Bournemouth in Gameweek 19. The only thing about Jimenez is Muniz is sniffing around for a start in those games, so Muniz might start the Ipswich game or Leicester, so if you do bring in Jimenez, I would be expecting at least one benching, but he is a decent option with those nice fixtures. With John Durant still suspended for the next 2 games, Ollie Watkins offers a differential route into that Aston Villa attack. He's off the back of a goal and an assist haul against Brighton in Game Week 19, and they have a decent run of fixtures, especially in Game Week 20 against Leicester, followed by Everton in Game Week 21, and with Morgan Rogers suspended for that Leicester game this week, Aston Villa will be looking towards Ollie Watkins for the returns. Looking at our last option then, Chris Wood, he's just off the back of a 12-point haul after picking up a goal and an assist away to Everton in Game Week 19. Nottingham Forest are definitely a team in form with 5 wins in a row, 6 wins in 7 games, so they're in flying form this season. And then looking at Wood, it's good to see him back on the score sheet after a few blanks over the last few game weeks. Looking at Forest's fixtures hereafter, in Game Week 20 they play Wolves, followed by a Liverpool game in Game Week 21, which isn't ideal, but they then play Southampton in Game Week 22. So if I was looking to bring in Wood, I'd be eyeing up those Wolves and Southampton fixtures in Game Week 20 and 22. If I had to rank these forwards in order of preference, I'd be going Chris Wood number 1, Ollie Watkins number 2, and then Raul Jimenez or Gabriel Jesus as your third options. With that out of the way, let's move on now and have a look at my transfer plans ahead of the Game Week 20 deadline. So with 2 free transfers to use, and with Matheus Cunha looking very likely to drop in price tonight, I'll probably be looking to making this transfer today, taking out Cunha and bringing in Chris Wood, eyeing up that fixture this week against Wolves in Game Week 20, and then that Southampton game in Game Week 22. Looking at that Liverpool game, there's every chance Wood can even come away with a return, with him being on penalties, and Nottingham Forest a team in form at the moment. If you've been following the channel all season, I did own Chris Wood since Game Week 1, so it's good to have him finally back in the team, and fingers crossed we can get some returns over the next few game weeks. That's pretty much one transfer confirmed. I haven't locked it in yet. I'm going to keep a close eye on the price changes tonight. But if it does look like Cunha is going to fall in price, I'll be bringing in Chris Wood. And as I said, I have 2 free transfers to use. I could be potentially looking to use the second one. I'm probably looking at taking out Ahmed. Since I brought him into the team, it's been blank after blank. Not his fault, it's just the team around him. United have been terrible over the last few game weeks. And they have Liverpool this weekend in Game Week 20. Not expecting anything from United in that game. It could easily be 3, 4, 5 goals to Liverpool. And that's why I'm probably looking at taking Ahmed out. The only thing that wants me to keep Ahmed is the fact United play Southampton in Game Week 21. But I'm going to have to decide on that before the deadline. If I was taking out Ahmed, I have enough money in the bank to go for Anthony Gordon. Newcastle are definitely a team in form at the moment. And looking at the fixtures for Newcastle over the next few games, fair enough, it's Spurs in Game Week 20, but they've got Southampton, Wolves and Bournemouth over the next 3 games then. So all pretty much poor defences, and Newcastle could easily get a few goals over those few games, and Anthony Gordon is in good form too. So here's how my team is currently shaping up ahead of the Game Week 20 deadline. Bearing in mind I do have 3 Arsenal players involved in that Brentford game tomorrow, so fingers crossed to come away injury and suspension free, and hopefully we can get an Arsenal clean sheet and maybe even an Odegaard return to get me closer to that top 50k mark. We'll assume that I've gone Chris Wood in, so that's why he's up front alongside Alexander Isak and João Pedro. Looking at João Pedro, he does have Arsenal in Game Week 20, but I'm looking to keep him, just the fact that he does play Ipswich in Game Week 21, so I'm not too fussed about taking him out this week. So looking at how we're shaping up ahead of the weekend's deadline, we're in decent shape to be fair, especially in the defence. I'll be expecting a clean sheet for Arsenal in that Brighton game, and then looking at Robinson up against Ipswich at home and Trent up against United at home, I'll be expecting a clean sheet or an attacking return from the 2 of them for, fingers crossed, a full house of returns in the defence. Moving on to the midfield, of course it's Mo Salah that gets the Iron Man this week up against a very poor Man United side, and the way Liverpool are going and the way Man United are going, I wouldn't be surprised to see Liverpool get 3, 4, even 5 goals, and with the form Mo Salah's in, I'd be expecting at least 2 returns from the Iron Man this week. On to Odegaard then, he still has to play Brentford tomorrow evening. He was very unlucky not to get a return against Ipswich in Game Week 18, so fingers crossed for a return against Brentford tomorrow, and hopefully he'll get something against Brighton in Game Week 20. After that shock defeat for Chelsea against Ipswich last night, you'll be expecting Chelsea and Cole Palmer to bounce back against Crystal Palace this weekend, so I'll be expecting a return for Palmer once again in that game. And then looking at Ahmed, I'm still deciding what I'm going to do with Ahmed. United not there at the moment, not at the races. I'm not expecting anything from United in that game, so it might be sensible to move him on, but the only thing that's making me want to keep him is that Southampton game in Game Week 21. Moving up front, I'm not expecting anything from João Pedro this week against Arsenal. I prefer to have me double Arsenal clean sheet anyway. I'm happy enough with the 2 assists from João Pedro last night in Game Week 19, so hopefully he can stay quiet and out of the book anyway. And then looking at Chris Wood and Alexander Isak, I'll be expecting a return from the 2 of them and continue on their form in front of goal. If you've made it to the end of this video, please give it a like, drop a comment below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It's the last video of 2024, so let's hit a like goal of 70 likes on this video, so head on down there, drop the video a like, and if you are watching this and you're not subscribed, we're just 1 subscriber off hitting our 7.2k goal before the end of the year. So if you are watching and you're not subscribed, head on down there, click subscribe on the channel. Let's get by this milestone in time for 2025. I just want to wish you all a happy new year, and just want to say a big thanks for the support so far this season and the support all year on the channel. It hasn't gone unnoticed and it really is greatly appreciated. I wish you all a happy new year, enjoy the celebrations tonight, and I'll see you all later on in the week for a Game Week 20 team selection video and then a Game Week 20 deadline stream on Saturday. Thanks for watching. Once again, happy new year to you all. Best luck for the week. We'll see you in the next video.